I want to ask you, by God's grace, all of you have children, and how do you handle this when you have two kids, three, four? What do you do, or how do you do stuff so that you don't pay attention to one particular person or one particular child among the rest, for the other kids to know that as for mommy, this is her favorite? And I was having a chat with somebody. He says, my mom doesn't like me, but in anything my brother asks her, she will do it. But anything I ask, she doesn't do it. And it's like I
Is
ask
that person a girl?
that
The
that
one
person.
who says
Yeah, that person is a
girl
girl.
versus a boy,
A
right?
boy, yes, a girl versus a boy, and
And
she is troubled. It's like sometimes I ask myself, is she my real mom? And so having you here, we have our three questions, but let's deal with this also and see how do you handle a situation like this. You have four kids. How are you able to show all of them love? And I say no, eh den be kosra baby and I'm on how mo be see. Who will go first?
Let
Mm,
Lady Adra go first.
okay.
Okay, all right. Lady Adra, if you want me to go, I'll put my 2 pence down and I'll let you
Okay.
add your pound and your pound.
All right, you go.
Okay. Um. First of all, okay. So my siblings, there are five of us. I've got a twin, and then there's three other. Well, there was another one adopted, so there were six of us. And I definitely felt like my mom favored even my twin sister more than me. But you see, and I felt pained by it, and I told my mom
Mm,
not that ago. I think it was about, and I'm in my 40s, right? So maybe about 2 years ago, I said to my mom, I know my twin sister is your favorite, no doubt. I don't know what happened. I forgot what it was, and I said to her plain point and blank, like that was the first time I ever said that to her. I know you
mm,
prefer my twin sister to me anyway. You
mm,
speak to her all the time. You don't speak to me. But then guess what? It was because in a way she felt like I could handle a lot of things,
Mm,
and
mm,
I'm the one who's quiet. Unlike my twin sister, she's like the extrovert. And so she
mm,
wants to talk all the time. And so she was
mm.
like more drawn to her because she was talking all the time. I remember one time we were very young. She looked at me, she said, you don't like talking at all, do you? You know, people
Mm,
who don't talk are very wicked. And I looked
mm,
at my mom and I said, well, how could you say that to me? But she didn't know how to get me to speak. But that was just my
Mm,
personality. Hey, but
mm,
after I got married and I had kids, Charlie, I talk like a parrot. I talk like a parrot a lot. And so I think sometimes, how do you do it? How do you balance it? There's one thing I've learned, thank God, that the kids that God gives to us are all different.
yeah.
Even though I have a twin, I'm different to my twin. And so what you need to do, and it's interesting because we were talking
are
about
you
this
all
on one show.
girls? The
Yes.
five of you, are you all girls?
Oh no. There are four girls and one boy. Well, one boy, one adopted brother, and yeah, and four other girls.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the first thing, first of all, first, one thing I've learned now is when you have kids, always pray because all your kids are all different. Maybe what you do to Lauren to show her love, it's not what you do to Laurentia to show her love. I
Yeah.
understand. I look at things differently. Laurentia looks at things differently, even though we're twins. So the first thing I'll say, I only have two, but even the two, one of them, and again, I remember when lady Rebecca asked, was the one who was saying the girl, because my girl would say to me, yeah, mom, I know you don't like me too much. And I'm like, this thing is not going to repeat myself in my family. I said to her, no, why are you talking like that? Oh, because I'm lenient with her brother and I'm always tougher. And I said to her, because your brother is a boy and there's certain things I know he can handle, but you're a girl. And so how I have to open my eyes. And there are lots of things I need to teach you that not necessarily I'll teach my son too, your brother too, but there are lots of things you need to know. And so when I'm being tough on you, it's not because I hate you, it's because I love you, it's because I want to shape you this way. And so all it takes is just talking to her for her to understand. And so this favoritism thing is a bit tough. But first thing is ask God to show you
Mm,
exactly the children He's given to you and how you can handle them.
Mm.
Because
mm,
understanding is all that it takes. If you understand the kids,
Yeah.
then you know how to treat them. When you see them in a certain, way, oh, Charlie, there's something wrong with this kid. Yeah, and God, how
wow.
can I handle this? So just ask God for understanding on all the kids He's given you. And when you have understanding of how their temperaments are, it's easy to handle them.
Yeah.
So one doesn't
Mm,
feel like, oh, you like this one and not me. Because you
wow.
always
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Lady
Fantastic.
Lauren.
Brilliant.
Lady Lauren. Wow, but I'm glad you didn't become like, was it Esau and Jacob, right?
Oh yeah.
Very, very, very well. Because sometimes when you see that um, love is coming from somewhere or going to somewhere, not your direction, you
Yeah.
become so hurt, angry, and all kinds of thoughts goes through your mind. Sɛ nipa yi na mo pɛ no ma pɛ no asɛm deɛ a
Yeah.
nso mɛyɛ ne biribi ama no afiri hɔ ɔni hɔ a then we will see. So all these things it happens at home, but I thank God that it didn't get to that level in your case. Lady Adjoa, same question. Let's tackle it and then we move on from here. How do you handle your own children? When I say or what do you do?
Okay, so me, I have two boys. But
Okay.
although they're two boys, they have completely different characters,
Mm,
different personalities, different temperaments. And what I have learned to do whilst I was, they were growing, and also whilst I had a child, was to understand. I actually looked into temperaments and personalities, so I was able to pick up what their temperaments were. Now the two of them are so different. One of them is quite calm, kind of book long kind of thing. The other one is an extrovert, want to go out all the time, will follow. The wants to follow, them and stuff like that. So I've had to deal with them differently. However,
Mm.
what I have done consistently was that every time, I remember when they were going to secondary school, for instance, every single day, I said to them, both of them, I love you. So I got them to, I kind of indoctrinated them so much that I love you. So even when they do something and I admonish them, I say, I am doing this out of love because I want to steer you in the right direction. So when I am angry at you and I sit you down and I shout at you or whatever, it's not because I hate you, but it's because I
Mm.
am doing this out of love. I want you to
Mm.
understand, so at a point in time when they were growing up, I had to also respect that they're now growing, they're into teenage years. So I stopped dealing with them as children. Sometimes when something goes wrong, I will sit them down and I'll say, let's have a conversation. Now, every day that you're going to school, I tell you I love you. There's a reason why I do that. So that when you are doing something stupid, remember that your mom loves you. And when
Mm.
something happens to you, it's not just you, but the impact on me will even be greater
Yeah.
than what will be on you. So I kind of put that in their minds and their brains so much so that when they were going to do something stupid, they actually think about, the effect it will probably have on me.
Mm,
So
mm,
even though I kind of treat them differently because of their temperaments and everything, I always keep telling both of them, I love you. I love you. When I send them a message, I love you. Every night when I'm going to sleep, I'm like, good night, boys, love you. So that they don't feel that I love one person more than the other. I might tell one person
mm.
off more than the other because that person is being more stupid than the other. But then at the end of the day, I let them know, I both let them both know that I love you the same.
Mm.
And that's it.
wow.
Brilliant.
Wow. Love shared. Aye. And yours too was very great. Having the same sex. I mean, you are able to also reach out to them with the word love, and which is good. I'm learning so much this evening. You continue to say you love them, and it gets
Yeah.
into their minds and all that. So if you're watching
Just so
us,
that they believe it, you know.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's not just you are saying you love them. You actually love them. You
I
show
actually
them.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do.
So be hot now. No back can no jomo koto. But
But if Johnny Sukrano, you're out of the from the place of love.
Okay,
That is
well,
like,
so-
I love
Yeah.
you, there's no
Part of the
problem.
love,
We are
man.
on,
wow. Let me quickly go to Lady Rebecca. You haven't given us your contribution on this one, isn't it?
Mhm.
Aha.
haven't yet.
You
We
haven't
haven't.
yet. So let's also hear something from you, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
think on top of what my sisters have said, this
Hmm.
whole project of raising children is a whole school. It's a learning curve. Nobody has been on this journey before.
Mhm.
We grow and
Yeah.
we build the bridge and we walk on it. We build a little and we walk on it. Nobody, not my parents, not their parents. So it's like parenting is the place where you learn on the job,
Yeah.
so 10 years, 20 years, 24 years of being a parent, and I'm still learning how to actually reach out to each of these
Mhm.
children.
Mhm.
As these ladies rightly said, no two children are the same. Even
Mhm.
the twins, the testimony from Lauren here shows, okay, that no two kids are the same. And in the same way, every one of our children interpret love differently. That is what I have found from my experience as a mother. For one of my children, it may be that just a mere I love you is okay. The other one may want a hug together with the I love you. And the other one actually sees me telling them off and showing them things to do as a way of love. So,
Wow.
one thing which I think, yeah, Lauren said about praying to buy into the mind of God in terms of what the strategy is for communicating love to, because love is a language, and we have to communicate it in the way that our children accept it,
Mhm.
not how we want it, but how they want
Yeah.
it. One of my three children will always come and give me a touch, like a hug from
Yeah.
school, either from behind or from the front or on my cheek, give me a peg on my cheek or whatever. Like, she likes the sense of touch. When we're walking out to a restaurant or to the shop or whatever, she will hold my hand or hold daddy's hand. For her, that is the bonding, that is the connection.
Mhm.
The other ones don't like that. Actually, sometimes when you go nearer to them, they will be like, but that does not mean that they don't like you, but
Mhm.
they have a different way of
Mhm.
communicating.
That's true.
For one of them, it will be just good food on the table, where you make them feel special that this was cooked for you. For them, that is enough to communicate love.
Mhm.
In terms of, do parents have favorites? It's a very tricky question.
Mhm.
Very, very. Because after all is said and done, we can sit here and say all of these things. But in practice, what was in the scripture about Isaac and Jacob and Rebekah and Esau was not an act, it was a reality.
Mhm.
It was a reality in the sense that Isaac loved Esau and Rebekah loved Jacob. From that level, I learned that it can actually happen in real life if we don't learn to work out the challenges, because we are human. And
Mhm.
as a human being, everybody is attracted to who makes them feel special.
Mhm.
So you may be a mother of 10, and if a couple of them or one child makes you feel very rewarded and appreciated, as human as you are naturally drawn to that child.
Mhm.
And it's
That's
not
right.
because the other person, let me use the example of the lady, Lauren and her sister. As they're growing up, sometimes we don't even know our kids, and we may misinterpret the one that does not talk as on penny power or whatever, but
Yeah.
maybe we have not found how to connect with them. So naturally, we find ourselves chatting with the chatty person, and then it's explains or interprets to the other children that mother is connected more to this person
Yeah.
than that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a very dicey situation, but the bottom line is that it can happen. I have always disbelieved that as a mother, you shouldn't, you or you can't, okay, let's use the word, you cannot have a favorite, but
Mm.
it can actually happen. And that is
Mhm.
something we must be open about. It can happen because
Yeah.
it gets to a time where you, as a parent, also want to see the response of the love that you're sowing into them.
Yeah.
And if one person is responding more positively than the other, we are human. You are not a robot. So you will find yourself meeting, or connecting more to that one person.
Mm.
Even God, He has favorites. God is drawn to the worshiper, the one who worships Him in deep
Yeah.
worship, in spirit and in truth and all of that. And so we don't have to deny that fact. I have been in the denial game for more than 2 decades until I saw a different dimension. And
Mm-hmm.
also, as we are speaking now, my mind just went back to that story of Isaac, Rebecca, Esau, and Jacob, the team players of that Isaac family. They were split because the responses were different.
Yeah.
And so it all comes down to praying, seeking the face of God, and ironing out challenges or finding out why this child is behaving that way. Because if we don't solve the problem, it becomes a mount. It becomes, an avenue for the splitting to happen because we are
Mm-hmm.
human. So we should not deny that. I have been denying it for a long time, but now I see that in reality, it does happen. And so we just have to look at how to avoid it because
That's
it
it.
can also cause,
That's it.
splits in families and
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's
Sibling
my little.
rivalry.
Someone is
Yeah.
knocking at my door. Sorry.
Wow.
Let me just
That's
Okay.
right.
quickly do
You
this
know,
and come
Pastor
back.
Augustine, something,
Mm-hmm.
just 1 minute. While Lady Rebecca was speaking, this favoritism thing we're talking about, it has split families apart. Where especially it causes sibling rivalry. That siblings, one hates the other because mother likes you, mother doesn't like me, and so it split families apart. And so this thing we're talking about, like joke, is a big thing. And I
Mm.
think as parents as well, especially mothers, because we're more, we spend more time, or we're more drawn. The kids spend much time with us than with the
Mm-hmm.
fathers. So maybe it's we mothers have to come to a place where you tell yourself you have to be intentional about it, that I'm human. And so just like Lady Rebecca was saying, maybe the kid who listens to me more, the possibility that you be drawn more towards them is high. So maybe mothers have to come to a place where you tell yourself you want to be intentional about it, that I don't want to find myself, or I do not want my kids growing up thinking mom loved A more than B or C or
Yeah.
D.
Mm.
And so just be intentional. And sometimes, every now and again, sometimes I'll even ask my kids, is there something you think I'm doing that you don't like? Is there something I'm doing that you think, maybe I could do better? I literally ask them questions like that. And they will tell
Mm.
me, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, no, I didn't mean it that way. It was supposed to be this way. Okay, fine. Okay, so moving forward, we'll do it this way, this way, this way. Are you good? Yeah. And we keep moving. So
Wow.
just be intentional about it.
Yeah.
Just be intentional about it. Lady Rebecca said it is possible to have a favorite one, but however, we need to work on it as human beings, as parents, as mothers, not to make other of our children feel less and all that.